Hey guys, welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. We're in the kitchen this evening and we are going to get a whole bunch of things started for the farm stand. And so we're going to start out with original sourdough loaf. And I am actually for the first time doing this in a quadruple batch. So I'm actually going to measure out the ingredients and then I'm going to put them into a great big tub here. And that is what I'll be doing my stretching and folding, and that's what we'll do. It's bulk fermenting. So let's see, I will get the recipe book and get the recipe for you on hopefully every recipe I'll remember, but if not, follow along. And I almost always share my recipes with you, and I try to share the ingredients as you go, but I have a ton of things to make tonight. So I'm gonna set you up and I might talk to you while I'm doing it, but for the most part, it's going to be watch me work and enjoy the video. Okay. So, by the way, this is one of the croissant loaves, and this thing is 6 days old. And it's flaky and beautiful. It's a little bit harder than, of course, it was at first, but it's just almost oozing with butter. It's so delicious. And that is the croissant sourdough loaf. I made 4 loaves. That's the only one that's left, and I made those, I think, 6 days ago. I did give one to the vet. We had to go to the vet for hops, an emergency visit to the vet. We still don't know exactly what's going on with him. We're treating him for potential torn muscle or pinched nerve. Can't find anything on x-rays, and they tested him for a tick-borne illness that he tested negative for. So he's on antibiotics and leash walking only, and anti-inflammatories and nerve blockers to try to help him, and he is better, and now we're starting to kind of wean him off of some of the medications to see if he is indeed better. So anyway, this is the recipe for the sourdough that we're doing right now. And so basically I'm going to put this stuff in a bowl, and then I'm going to transfer it to my big thing. And this is where I'm going to mix it, stretch and fold it, and it will do its bulk ferment. And then after it's bulk ferment, then I will take it out and put it into separate Benetton baskets, and it'll go into the fridge in those single loaf Benetton baskets overnight, and then we'll bake it. So we're not going to get to the point of baking today in this video, but I do more, in case you're new here, I do more of like a day in the life videos. So you're not going to get the start to end, but you are going to get everything that we do today. So now we're going to do 325 grams of water times 4 is 3 times 4 is 1200. 25 times 4 is 100. So 1300 grams of water. It's like 1306, and I'm okay with that because my starter was a little solid there. So I'm okay with it adding a little bit more water. Just want to get it diluted and throughout. Do you see the bits and pieces that are floating on top? That means you have good active starter. And you may have noticed that my starter was a little low in the jar, and that's okay. I actually was ready this morning, and I decided to go for a walk with a girlfriend, so I just put it in the fridge. But as you can see, if you do the float test, this is still very much ready to to use active, good, healthy starter. All right, that is good enough for me. Huh. There's all the chiddlers in the background. Don't have any dry flour exposed. This is very much looking like a shaggy dough to me. I just have a little bit of dried flour on the bottom here. I'm trying to work in, incorporate. Looks like a whole lot of nothing right now, doesn't it? Looks like porridge. But that is a shaggy dough right there. I'm just gonna put the lid on and set it aside here. Move on to our next project. Days like today, I might empty this more than twice. So I'm not gonna get another jar every time I empty it today, but let's see. Alrighty then. Oh, got recipes falling out of my recipe book. Okay, we're gonna double this batch. So we're gonna do 200 grams of discard. Sure. All right, so let's put the 200 in here, which that's stupid. I can't believe I did that way. Be smarter than me, folks. Okay, and 500 grams of all-purpose or bread flour. We're going to go ahead and use bread flour because hold on. We're going to use both. I'm going to see if I have bread flour in the back room. Okay, good news. I didn't have any in the back room, but I did have some in the freezer, which reminds me I need to put that on my grocery list. Okay, so 500, that we need 1,000 grams of bread flour and all-purpose flour. Now this just came out of the freezer, so we're not going to use that in this recipe. We will just make up the difference with regular flour. And I don't have another mason jar, gallon mason jar clean, so I will actually use the same one in this instance for the bread flour, unless I can find one. I'm gonna go look for one, but I want to get this measured out and started first. So all-purpose flour to make up the difference. We had 115 grams of bread flour in this, and now we're just making up the difference. I've made it both ways, and it's good both ways. I prefer to use bread flour. It makes it a little softer, but these loaves are both going to their homes tomorrow. They're not going to sit on the shelf, so they will get consumed very quickly. So I don't need to worry as much about softness like I do if they're going to be sitting on the shelf for a couple or 2-3 days. There's 1,000. Okay. That is good. Just like that, and it'll sit for 30 minutes. Okay, I found a half-gallon mason jar for my discard, so we'll get that done. Happening flip over. And we're gonna rotate. I'm gonna go in the middle. This is called coil stretch and folding. I'm just gonna keep doing this until it finally all, I want it to all pick up off the bottom. Well, there's one side, but I don't want it to tear. We're gonna cover her up and we'll go 15 minutes this time. Okay, now we're gonna go for, I'm gonna see how much starter I have, and I'm gonna go for hopefully 2 loaves. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but I'd like to do 2 loaves of my porter wheat. So we'll see. 189, I just don't have it. Okay, that's all right, we'll just do 1. There it is. Focus. There you go. So 300 grams of bread or all-purpose flour. We're going to be using 210 grams of whole wheat flour. 10 grams of salt. Again, we're just forming a shaggy dough. Cover it up and we'll let this one rest for 30 minutes. Okay, just feeding Cheeky here. And I'm feeding her a 1 to 4 to 5 ratio. Hopefully this will now make hopefully 5. I can't do the math in my head. I'm not super smart. So it's gonna make 5 or 6 more loaves tomorrow morning, which will be good. We have 5 going tonight and we'll have 5 or 6 going tomorrow morning, or however many I feel like I need. And you know, keep in mind that Mr. Wonderful was here for a week, so I did not bake for a week. And so we did, the farm stand is empty right now, so I'm kind of trying to catch up on my stock and supply at the farm stand, and also catch up with orders that happened while he was here that I told people I was not going to fulfill things while he was here, because my Mr. Wonderful is gone all summer and he only gets to come and visit me for like a week, and I wanted to spend that time with him. So if I cannot make a mess. Every time I go to put something in one of these mason jars, I think, pray for me. Okay, set that there. Get my station a little bit refreshed here. I'm going to go ahead and soften this. This is the equivalent of 2 sticks of butter. And we're going to be making chocolate chip. So it's chocolate sourdough, chocolate chip basically. From there up, if you can make sense of it, but we're going to go through it. 1 whole cup of sugar. It's okay if you use a little more. We're going to drop down 2 sticks of softened butter, or 226 grams. if you're buying your butter in bulk, or if you are fortunate enough to have your own milk cow and you make it in bulk, it's 226 grams. So this is a double batch. So instead of 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, we're using 1/2 cup of brown sugar. This is the recipe that I got off of Sourdough Mama's page. My additive to that is a bit of honey. And I measure this with my heart. That's a double batch, and that's what it looks like before we mix it. Okay, here we are 2 minutes later. We've got alarms going off everywhere. First one's first, we've got a double batch in here of our sandwich white bread. Okay, and I screwed up and used too much butter today without pulling enough out. So I had to put another stick in the microwave. So we are going to add, generally it calls for 60 grams of butter, double batch, 120 grams of butter. It is 20 grams of sugar, but because it's a double batch, it's going to be 40 grams of sugar. Generally, it is 10 grams of salt. It's going to be 20 grams of salt this round. And generally in this recipe, we use 7 grams of instant yeast, so we'll use 14 in the double batch. Because I have so many things going on tonight, I'm just going to double check that I'm not missing anything. 60 grams of butter, 10 grams of salt, 20 grams of sugar, 7 grams of yeast. I'm good to go. So now, plop this in here, lock it, and we're going to let it go for 6 minutes. A little easier when it's just one loaf. 15 minutes. Whoopsie. The last time I had it coming all the way up, so that was good. Look at that, I got it all. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop this guy and unlock him and knock off the stuff that's on the top. And just kind of knock everything off the dough hook. And I might run him for a little longer than 6 minutes. He needs to come together, get to where it's not sticky anymore, and have cleaned the sides of the bowl. That's kind of my rule. All right, where are we at? We are at eggs. So we are gonna add in 2 eggs because the recipe calls for 1. 1. 2. Okay, that's where that's at 6 minutes, and I'm not happy with that. It needs to go a little longer. I need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And I need a whole cup of chocolate sourdough discard. Okay. Scrape down the sides first. Teaspoon of baking powder. No, this is baking soda. Teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of salt. Now I'm going to add 4 cups of all-purpose flour. 6, 7, 8. Okay. So do you see how that's pulled away from the side there? Now this is a really big batch, so it's, probably not going to clean up the whole bowl. But I can tell that it's cleaned up that side there, and so this looks good. It looks real close to done for me. That looks good to me. Now we'll just cover it and let it rest for an hour. And this is kind of a recipe that I do a lot by feel. That's why I'm not super exact on my measurements. When I measure the flour, I'm not leveling it off like you're supposed to when you're baking. I do this recipe a lot by feel because all discard recipes are going to vary a little depending on how saturated, how wet your discard is. And of course, I add honey to this recipe, which makes it a little bit more wet and sticky. So I go by feel because I know that I'm going to ball this up. That actually feels really good. I'm going to add my chocolate chips. It calls for a cup per batch, so I'm going to add 2 cups. Stretch this right here for you guys. That's it. Just pull up the 4 corners and fold them over onto each other. I'm gonna have some mad ponies tonight. It is 7 o'clock. It is time for them. Okay, this is for this one, so we'll stretch and fold this one. But I'm gonna go ahead and add the alarm for this one so I don't forget it, which I'm doing 16 minutes for it so that I can decipher in between the 2. Move this to the side. Look at that, you guys. Doesn't that look amazing? And these are called coil folds, and you're just basically folding, you're taking it and you're putting, like say the butt, putting the butt down and then rolling and putting the arms underneath the stomach, basically. So you're kind of rolling it into a ball. Oh, look at that bubble. That's awesome. All right, pick it up, stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. You don't want to tear it, just want to stretch it. Put the butt down and roll it over. she's on the 30-minute stretch. So that was the 4th stretch and fold. Big cookies. That one might have been a little bit overzealous, but we'll see. I think those are both a little bit overzealous, so we're going to go a little smaller. This is why you want your dough to be able to be handleable. That's kind of the key, is you want, I mean, it is still sticking to the tips of my fingers, but it is handleable to where I'm able to roll them. If it's too sticky, just mix some more flour in. So I'm going to grab off of some bigger ones. Now these are going to go into the fridge for 2 hours. Let's go bring some probably pretty perturbed horses in. First I'm going to get the dogs fed. No more gabapentin for you. Doctor's orders. Okay. Okay, they are not going to be very happy to walk into their stalls without anything in their grain bins, but I'm going to just bring them in first and then I'll work on their grains because I don't really love going back and forth to pasture in the dark. So we'll just bring everybody in and then I will get them all of their grains. They will be okay. You would, wouldn't you? Why would you do that? Why would you make your life so much harder when you can just go in your stall? Thought I could trust you. Okay. Stop here for me. Let me take off both your halter and your fly mask, please. Wait, wait, wait. Okay. There's nothing in it. Okay, we've got to go in and do stretch and folds before we start grains. So it is dark out there. So I'm gonna go out and put all my baby chicks away and get my little ring neck lady in and get the horses grained, and I'll be popping back and forth. We've got a 13-minute alarm right now, a 12-minute alarm, an hour and 12-minute alarm, and a 29-minute alarm. So I've got 4 alarms going. I'll be back. I'm gonna go just back and forth it for a little while, but it's dark out there. You guys can't see, so I can't take you with me. Moving on to the 2 double batch of the white sandwich bread. Just greased my pans. Now I'm going to do 1 regular size loaf, and then I'm going to turn the other loaf into minis. So this is a regular, so we're going to do all-purpose flour. Look at that. Look at how much that's grown. So getting it out I knew would probably be a challenge. It's not just gonna dump out. So I saved the spatula. Oh, the smell. Unbelievable. Some days I think to myself, thank God these loaves of bread are sold, or I would be a much fatter person tomorrow. Just like that. And I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna ease it over there and let it stay the way that it is. And I'm just gonna gently press this one out and get the big loaf out of the way first. Ever so gently, and then I'm just rolling it up. Don't need that anymore. Making sure that the seam is on the bottom when I put it in the pan. I want it to be pretty well formed. I don't want it super skinny on this side, fat on this side. And I'm just gonna try to pick it up and plop it in, just like that. And then it'll settle. It's got another hour to rise. So now, I'm gonna see if I can divide this into thirds. I usually have to weigh these out. It's pretty hard to get them close. We'll see. It's just hard once you start ripping from them. 335, 312. 331, that's good enough for me. Main thing I'm trying to get rid of right now is just the seam on the bottom. one decided it wanted to turn over on me. That's okay. Add a kitchen towel to them. But truth be told, I'm going to move them around a little bit. Now it'll sit on the counter and bulk ferment overnight. This one. I might have to have a piece of toast for dinner. All this smell of bread is making me hungry for bread. One more stretch and fold on that one in 30 minutes and I'll be done there. Okay, 30 minutes later, it's time for this guy's last stretch and fold. Just like that. And we will let that bulk ferment overnight also. Okay, I have the oven preheated to 350, and now we're just going to get some separation on these cookies. And these guys will go for 16 minutes. Okay, cookies are coming out of the oven. Oh yeah, I need to be 165. They make that. And in goes our loaves of bread. Fix that. I like to bake my bread in the middle, if I can, of my oven. The little ones will go in for 20 and the big one goes in for 40. It looks so good. They look so yummy. All right, 20 minutes later, there is the full-size loaf. Pop it right out. There she is. Baking is so rewarding. My house smells amazing, and I have all of these beautiful goods that are going to go to people and enjoy a little piece of love from my farm. I hope you guys enjoyed coming along with me today, and I hope to see you on the next one. Yours truly.